All right, so I'm here with my client Rizal, who has actually been through Authentic and Aligned twice and has done some other work and trainings as well. So I know that you've been on an intense spiritual journey. So how would you describe like around the time when you've signed up for Authentic and Aligned the first time? I know we'd worked together a little bit at that point, but what was life like for you at that time? What were you going through at that time and why did you decide to join the program?
Well, yeah, at that time, my life was a bit of a mess. I recently lost my wife, and I was in the process of finding myself, really, and not knowing what to do. I know I need to connect with myself spiritually, although I didn't know that's what it's called at the time. So when I saw the course, I thought, oh, this would be an interesting to take.
What was the transformation for you the first time through the program?
Well, it made me focus on the things that really matters. Some of them are about the mission statement, the thrust. Those are the kind of things that I really am not aware at the time, but the course pretty much helped me focus throughout the exercises that we did on the first one also helps me more aligned with myself, even though the second time through was much better, I think.
Yeah, that's why I was inspired to create the program. And that because things like you mentioned with learning your thrust, it's like people don't even know that's a thing, let alone how it can help them in their life. So that's really interesting to hear. So, what about the second time? What was different about that one?
I want to mention of the other thing is the my policy. Some of the behaviors that I do, sometimes I don't know why I do them, but the authentic and aligned help me understand that way. The difference in time between the first one and the second one, it seems like I've been absorbing a lot of stuff and things to just gel up on the second one. It's like, oh, it makes more sense. In fact, my mission statement is more refined than it was in the first time. Now it's more one cohesive sentence.
Mm. Yeah. So you mentioned policy, which is another thing that people probably don't even know what we're talking about there. So that is one of the things that you'll learn in Authentic and Aligned is what is your first policy? And actually with deeper work, you can get your first three policies. But these are from a spiritual point of view. It's like, what are your values that drive you innately? If you're off your inner policy, you're really suffering. And I see a lot of people actually experiencing that in their life.
Mhm.
So if I remember rightly, your first policy is action. Is that correct?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happens to you if you're not in that action energy?
I feel negative. I feel like I'm not producing anything, so I feel bad about myself. So I get into this continuous loop of feeling guilty.
Yeah.
So
It's so
now,
interesting that you're able to answer that so quickly too, because you have the self-awareness now.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
now that I'm aware of that, if I feel that way, then I said, okay, what action can I take right now? You know?
Mm.
And then
Yes.
if that works, keep on doing it until you feel better about yourself. So that's like a routine that I do to help me make me feel better about myself, especially during the day. And we can get to negative part and they can go to negative, so positive. So I'm trying to direct myself as opposed to before I was just like, okay, I'm in a bad mood. I can't do anything about it. Now it's like, wait, there's a tool.
Yes, you have the tools to change it.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
And some people watching won't relate to that at all because your
yeah,
first policy has nothing to do with action.
right,
For
right.
those that do, that's what's going to get us out of the bad feelings, so to speak. So, one of the intentions of Authentic and Aligned is to help people to really align with the work and relationships that match your uniqueness, your life purpose. So, what has changed in that more material side of your life?
Well, I've always known that I'm into technology, but I also like talking to people. I like to bring people together and make them feel better. Of course, I didn't know that at the time that I would like to do that. I'm just starting to know more about it as I was taking the Authentic and Aligned. And I realized that, yeah, I do like to bring people together and make them feel good, but not necessarily with technology. I can do it while talking. So that was a big aha for me.
Well, if you don't mind me sharing with the audience, I know you've been through a transition, right? Like
Yeah.
you got laid off
Yes,
unexpectedly
yeah,
from your job, but actually it's because you've been on this journey, it's a beautiful opportunity to really now align with the work that matches your life purpose.
that's right.
Yeah. So you're still in that transition phase and haven't landed on it yet, but at least now, would you say that you have so much more clarity about what your next steps are and where to look?
Yes. In fact, I have plan A and I have plan B in mind. Do I need to share them?
You don't have to, it's up to you. Yeah. Because I think that's what happens sometimes is we want the change to be immediate, right? It's people that sign up for the program are often looking for, this isn't working in my life, particularly job and relationships. There can be other things too, but those are the ones that tend to get our attention. And we're
Yeah,
like, I need to change this now. But actually, the change comes from looking within. And sometimes that is a slower, more steady process than maybe our brain wants initially.
that's right. That's why the second class round helps more
Yeah.
is to gel up the information that I've learned from the first one.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So, any other results that you'd like to share about how the spiritual work has helped you, with it inside or out?
Well, in the earlier courses that I took, I was pretty shocked that it has changed quite a bit, especially the spiritual sensitivity. It started in December 21 at 86%. And recently we just did that and it was at 97%. I was like, wow, that is significant change, a
Yeah.
huge change. So yeah, I want to thank you, Melissa, for all the training and the coaching that you did. Been awesome.
Yeah. So, for those of you that aren't familiar, that's the update that's available after you've done the first spiritual consultation. So, going from 86% to 97%, what has that change been like and felt like for you in your life?
I'm more in tune with myself, with my spirituality. I would say I would be more sensitive to my surrounding a lot more. Whereas before, when I was going through some the loss of my wife, I felt I was like resisting a lot of stuff around me.
Mm-hmm.
Get away, don't touch me, don't that kind of thing. So yeah, it's a significant change in my that is has been my overall goal is to develop my spirituality. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, I didn't know the name of it, but at that time, I didn't know that it was called spirituality. I just knew that I need to go in that direction.
Would you say that you're more relaxed with your life?
Yes, yes, and
Yeah.
more positive outlook too.
Yes. And that's one of the other things we do in Authentic and Aligned is to help you to manifest. And that's a word that's very overused out there in the world. But I love how you said that is that positive outlook, because that's what it takes to actually create the change we want in our lives, is to
Mhm.
have a different feeling
I
inside.
just wanted to add that it's easier to be more positive now than it was before, whereas I did not have the tools or the knowledge what to do when I'm down.
Yeah.
Now I do. So yeah, it's been really positive overall. I recommend to do it twice.
Yeah. Not only are we telling them to sign up, but do it twice.
Twice, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait for a year and then do it again.
Yeah. Funny. So, what would you share with somebody that was considering maybe signing up for this program or learning these spiritual tools? What would you share with them if they're on the fence and not sure?
Well, if you're going through some similar stuff that I was, which was searching internally and you needed assistance and some guidance, this would be a good course to take. Like I said, twice. Not just once, but twice.
Yeah. Well, and I know that this is really personal for you, but there's other people who've experienced, right, that grief that you went through, and somebody that was just such a close partner in your life, to have them absent is really confronting in a lot of ways.
Right.
So, but it's been like this catalyst for you to grow yourself.
That's right. Because of the loss of my wife, I had time to look into myself as to like, okay, what can I do? Who's really Rizal Danyo?
Mm,
Because before I identify myself with my wife, now I have to figure out who I am as me. Now that's been a long process.
yeah. So if somebody else has been through a similar situation as you, losing a partner or someone really close to them, what advice would you give to them?
First of all, they would have to be an open-minded and be willing to look at themselves, like honestly. And that is not an easy process sometimes, but I must say that this process of authentic and align basically helps me to go step by step as to what I need to focus on. And as I said before, it took me a while to gel up the information, but it did. It helped me. So, yeah.
Yeah. What that reminds me of too is we say, oh, you're here to learn and grow in this lifetime, right?
Correct. That
But
is
learning is one thing, that's easier.
mhm.
The growing is the harder part.
Right.
And growing doesn't go at a fast pace sometimes, right?
Hmm.
So that's
Hmm.
kind of what I hear you saying as I'm reading between the lines is
That's
like
right.
the first time around you learned it and you incorporated it some, but then
Yeah.
the second time around was really where the growth happened.
Yes. So I guess one more advice would be is just don't expect the answers to come immediately because it takes some time. And that's what growth is all about.
Yeah.
Personal growth, at least the way I see it. Some people might see it differently, but if you're looking for a quick answer, this is not it. You need to work with yourself.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and I like that you said that work with yourself because this program is not about me sharing all my brilliance, really. It's about giving people the tools to
yeah,
access themselves,
that's right.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. Um, yeah. I also was reminded of our running joke and some of the groups that I run on Zoom where everybody gets the keyword patience from their angels over and over and over again, just to make sure you're being patient.
Yes.
Patient in the spiritual journey.
Yes, I get that word a lot.
Yeah. Everyone sniggers every time. We all get patience.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, anything else you'd like to share about your spiritual journey and the work that we've done together?
No, I'm just really appreciative of you, of your existence, actually, to help me go through what I need to go through. At first, I really didn't know what I was doing. I was just searching for myself, about myself. But you give me the direction and tools and some of the exercises and all the other courses that I've taken with you. It's awesome. I really want to thank you.
Thank you for letting me share. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
I've been
And
talking to
thank
a
you
number
for,
of people about you, by the way. So
oh, thank you. And thank you for sharing with the audience who will end
yes.
up watching this video. All right.
All
Thanks,
right.
Rizal.
Thank you.